They will tell you it is a promotion. They will say Obasa is moving up from the State House of Assembly to the Federal House of Representatives. That is bigger, that is higher, that is progress. Do not believe it. What is being packaged as a promotion for Mudashiru Obasa, the current Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, is one of the most calculated political demotions you will ever witness in Nigerian politics. A demotion so elegantly disguised that most people will clap for it. They will say, "Congratulations, Obasa." They will shake his hand, they will smile. And Obasa himself, a veteran political survivor, a grassroots warrior from Agege, will smile back because he understands the game. He knows what is happening, and he also knows he does not have many options right now. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on what is really going on between President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Lagos political structure, and a man who, just like Desmond Elliot, made the mistake of moving without the permission of the most powerful political godfather in Nigeria. But unlike Desmond Elliot, Obasa has roots, and that changes how his punishment is being delivered. Stay with me. This is going to be one of the most detailed political analyses you have ever watched on this channel. Before we go anywhere, let us establish who Mudashiru Obasa is, because you cannot understand what is happening to him without understanding how far he has come. Mudashiru Obasa is the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly. He has been in that house for years, surviving elections, surviving political storms, surviving moments that would have finished lesser politicians. He is the godfather of Agege politics, a man with deep grassroots connections in one of the most densely populated and politically active local government areas in Lagos. He is not a celebrity like Desmond Elliot. He did not come to politics through Nollywood. He came through the streets, through community, through years of grinding, building relationships, delivering for his people, and crucially, staying within the Tinubu political orbit. As Speaker, Obasa wields enormous influence. He controls the agenda of the Lagos House of Assembly. He manages the relationships of over 40 lawmakers. He has the power to determine what legislation moves, what stalls, and what dies. In Lagos state politics, the Speaker of the House of Assembly is not just a presiding officer, he is a power center. And that is precisely the problem. Power centers in Tinubu's political world are permitted, but only to the degree that they serve the larger structure. The moment a power center begins to operate independently, to accumulate influence that is not tied to or cleared by the godfather, it becomes a threat. And Obasa, whether intentionally or not, had been becoming exactly that. A man with too much independent influence. A man who, some would argue, had begun to believe that his long years of loyalty had earned him a certain autonomy. He was wrong, and the impeachment crisis would prove it. January 2025. A coordinated faction of lawmakers in the Lagos State House of Assembly moves swiftly and impeaches Speaker Mudashiru Obasa. The operation is fast, it is organized, and it shocks the political world. Now, the lawmakers who executed that impeachment had their reasons. For years, there had been whispers, and more than whispers, about Obasa's management style within the House. High-handedness, a tendency to centralize power, decisions made without proper consultation, members who felt silenced, sidelined, or pressured. The frustration had been building for a long time. And so, a group of them decided, enough, we move, we impeach, we install new leadership. Here is where the story gets very interesting, because the impeachment of Obasa was not just a problem for Obasa, it was a problem for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the reason it was a problem for Tinubu had nothing to do with how much he loves or trusts Obasa. It had everything to do with something far more fundamental to how Jagaban operates: control. The lawmakers who executed that impeachment did so without Tinubu's knowledge, without his approval, without even by most accounts a phone call to Abuja to say, "Sir, this is what we are planning." They just moved on their own, without authorization. And when that report reached Tinubu, the reaction, according to those close to the president, was not primarily concern for Obasa. It was something much more personal, much more alarming. The president reportedly saw it as a coup, not a coup against Obasa, a coup against him. His thinking was chilling in its logic. If these men could plan and execute this operation, coordinate, count votes, move against a sitting speaker, all without my knowledge, what does that say about my grip on Lagos? What does that tell me about my own safety in the state I built? That was the moment everything shifted. Not because Obasa was innocent, not because Obasa had not stepped on toes, but because the president had been disrespected, the chain of command had been broken, and in Tinubu's world, that cannot stand. When Obasa was reinstated, the public narrative was simple and tidy. Tinubu supports Obasa. The president has restored his ally. Obasa is back, stronger than ever. Many people across Lagos political circles nodded and said, "Ah, you see, Obasa is Tinubu's man. They couldn't touch him." Wrong, wrong, wrong. Let me tell you what that reinstatement actually meant, because the two things are completely different. Tinubu did not reinstate Obasa because Obasa had done nothing wrong. Tinubu did not reinstate Obasa because they trust Obasa completely or because their relationship is in perfect health. The GAC, the Governance Advisory Council, which is the inner circle of Lagos ACP politics, is not in perfect harmony. Tinubu, Sanwo-Olu, and Obasa are not a flawless triangle of loyalty. There are tensions. There have been tensions. But none of that mattered in that moment, because the act of reinstatement was not about Obasa. It was about Tinubu sending a message to the lawmakers who moved without him. The message was, "You thought you could reorganize my house without my permission? I will show you who is in charge. I am putting Obasa back, not because he deserves it, but because you do not have the authority to remove him without me." It was a demonstration of power, a reassertion of supremacy. Tinubu essentially looked at those lawmakers and said, "You moved without me. Now watch what I do when I move." He reversed their action, not because it was wrong on the merits, but because it was done without him. And that distinction is everything. So while Obasa walked back into that speaker's chair and smiled for the cameras, the truth underneath that smile was complicated. He was reinstated, but he was not forgiven. He was not cleared. He was not endorsed for the future. He was simply used to deliver a message to the men who had dared to act without Tinubu's blessing. And once that message was delivered, Tinubu turned his attention to the next question. How do we restructure Lagos in a way that puts everyone back in their proper place? How do we ensure this never happens again? The answer to that question is what we are living right now, and it involves both Obasa and Desmond Elliot in very different but deeply connected ways. Now we arrive at the central argument of today's video. And I want you to listen to this very carefully, because this is the part that the headlines will not tell you. By 2027, Mudashiru Obasa will not be returning to the Lagos State House of Assembly. He will be moving to the Federal House of Representatives. On the surface, and this is how it will be packaged to the public, this looks like a step up. State to federal, Lagos Assembly to the National Assembly. Surely that is bigger. Surely that is progress. Let me explain to you why in Obasa's specific case, this move is not a promotion. It is a carefully designed, beautifully wrapped political demotion, and I will give you 4 reasons. Reason 1. He is going from being the chairman to being a member. Right now, Obasa is the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Not just a member, the Speaker. He controls the agenda, he presides over every sitting, he manages 40+ lawmakers. He is the #1 man in that chamber. His voice does not just count, it decides. When he moves to the House of Representatives in Abuja, he will be a freshman member, a first-timer, one of 360 in that chamber. He will have no committee chairmanship guaranteed, no automatic leadership position. He will walk in on day 1 as the new man on the block. He is trading a throne for a seat. That is not a promotion. That is a fundamental loss of institutional power. Reason 2. He is going from local king to a small fish in a very big ocean. In Lagos State Assembly, Obasa is the dominant figure. Every lawmaker there answers to the structure he manages. His relationships, his networks, his authority, they are concentrated and powerful in that space. In the House of Representatives in Abuja, he will be one of 9 members from Lagos alone, one of 360 from across Nigeria. The power dynamics are completely different, the alliances are different, the hierarchy is different. He will need years to rebuild the kind of influence he currently holds, and by that time, his political window in Lagos will have narrowed significantly. Reason 3. he loses his grassroots grip over Lagos state politics. This is the most devastating consequence that people are not talking about enough. As Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Obasa has direct influence on what happens in Lagos governance. Bills that affect Lagos communities, budgets that allocate Lagos resources, relationships with Lagos executive, all of this passes through or connects to his office. Once he moves to Abuja, his daily influence on Lagos politics reduces dramatically. He becomes one step removed. The new speaker, whoever Tinubu installs, will now be the person managing those relationships, those allocations, those community connections. Obasa's people in Agege will still know his name, but the new speaker will be the one calling the shots that affect their daily lives. And in grassroots politics, proximity to power matters more than titles. Reason 4. It severs his path back to the speakership. If Obasa were to remain in the Lagos State Assembly, even as a regular member, there would always be the possibility, however slim, of a future return to the speakership. Politics shifts, alliances change, speakers fall. It has happened before. But once he crosses to the federal level, that door closes behind him. You cannot be a member of the federal legislature and simultaneously hold or pursue a position in the state legislature. By moving him out, Tinubu ensures that the Lagos State House of Assembly is permanently reorganized under a new leadership, a leadership that will be handpicked and fully loyal. So, let me say it plainly one more time. Obasa is going from being the most powerful man in a 40-member chamber he controls to being one of 360 members in a chamber where he controls nothing and knows almost no one. That is not a promotion. That is a political reassignment, a deliberate reduction of influence dressed up in federal clothing. Now, let us zoom out and look at the full picture, because what is happening to Obasa is not an isolated decision. It is one piece of a larger restructuring that Tinubu is engineering for the Lagos State House of Assembly ahead of 2027. Think about what the president now knows after the impeachment crisis. He knows that the current House of Assembly has lawmakers bold enough to move against his appointed speaker without telling him. He knows there are members who have independent political ambitions that they are willing to act on. He knows that the loyalty of certain members cannot be taken for granted. That's an intelligence report Tinubu did not need a spy agency to deliver. The lawmakers delivered it themselves when they executed that impeachment. So, what does a strategist of Tinubu's caliber do with that information? He doesn't just punish the offenders, he rebuilds the entire structure. By 2027, the Lagos State House of Assembly will have a new set of lawmakers, not just one or two replacements, an entirely new composition. Members who understand the rules from day one, members who know who gave them their tickets, members who will not need to be reminded that Lagos runs one way. And at the head of that new house, there will be a new speaker, someone Tinubu trusts completely, someone whose loyalty is not assumed but proven, someone who owes their position entirely to the structure and knows it. Obasa served his purpose. He built a career in that house, but his chapter in the Lagos Assembly is being closed, not because he is being discarded, but because the house needs to be reset. And you cannot reset a house with the same man who has been speaker for years sitting in the front row, accumulating influence and reminding everyone of the old order. Moving him to Abuja is the cleanest way to close that chapter without a messy fight. It gives Obasa a face-saving exit, it gives the public a palatable narrative, and it gives Tinubu exactly what he needs, a blank canvas in Lagos State Assembly. Now, here is where the story of Obasa connects directly to a story we told on this channel recently, the story of Desmond Elliot and his political collapse in Surulere. Both men are being punished for the same fundamental sin in Tinubu's political world, operating outside the bounds of approved loyalty, moving without the boss's blessing, allowing their ambition or their frustration to override the discipline that the structure demands. But watch how differently the punishment is being delivered, because this tells you something very important about how Tinubu operates. Desmond has no roots independent of the Gabagbiamila-Tinubu structure. His entire political foundation was built on borrowed ground. Without that structure, he has nothing. No independent community base, no alternative political network, no grassroots machinery that is uniquely his. So his punishment is complete and total. He is simply being replaced. Femi Gabagbiamila's mother, at 96 years old, publicly endorsed Barrister Barakat Odunluga Bakare for his seat. The message was clear and final. You are done. Obasa, on the other hand, is Agege. His political identity and his community identity are the same thing. He has built genuine grassroots loyalty over decades. His people in Agege know him not just as a politician, but as their own. If Tinubu tried to completely destroy Obasa, to publicly humiliate him, to remove him without a landing, he risks destabilizing Agege and creating a wounded, resentful enemy with a loyal community base. And Tinubu is too smart to do that. So, instead, Obasa gets what I call the soft demotion. He is moved, not destroyed. He is reduced, not eliminated. He is given a federal title to save face while quietly being stripped of the Lagos influence that made him powerful. It's how a master chess player removes a threatening piece from the board, not by capturing it dramatically, but by maneuvering it into a position where it can no longer threaten the king.